Hello, thinking out loud. We just did a Facebook Live and I surprised Jay with the hats from Keegan Tabor.
Thank you, Keegan.
Thank you so much, Keegan. We are definitely going to come to one of your races this summer and watch, and we will be live there one week. I am dedicating myself to do 1 week at Thunder Road, and hopefully Keegan will be there. And he gave us these amazing hats. Mine is purple, which I don't know if he knows was my favorite color. And then Jay and Brendan got their own. So this week's guest is our very own J.R. Busso.
Yep.
And he has said no question is off limits. So
Yeah.
we might have to have some good questions here. So Jay, introduce yourself a little bit, because maybe people are turning into our podcast for the very first time and are wondering, what the heck? Who is this person?
My name is J.R. Busso. I've lived in Vermont lived in Vermont all my life. I've lived in my current house. I can't believe it, but it's been just turned 14 years.
Wow.
Since I've been lived in Randolph.
Nice.
The longest I lived in the house.
Yeah.
Before.
All right.
And I really enjoy doing the Thinking Out Loud podcast.
Yeah, we have so much fun. I think it's so much fun. So you lived here for 14 years. Where did you live before?
I've lived in East Granville and Bethel, Tunbridge.
Oh, okay.
South Royalton area.
Wow, you lived all over the place. I grew up in Tunbridge.
Yes.
Yeah, I grew up in Tunbridge. I was there for the first 16 years of my life, and then moved to South Royalton, and then moved to Randolph, and then moved to Rochester, and then back to Randolph. Nice. So I've been here a little bit longer than you have, but so Jay full disclosure, right? We're talking full disclosure. Jay has chronic pain and
CP.
And CP. Can you tell us what CP is?
Cerebral palsy.
And can you describe what cerebral palsy is?
Cerebral palsy can affect people many different ways. And anything from like a bent finger, and I hate to say it, but some maybe like a complete care for all their lives.
So fully paralyzed.
Yes.
Fully paralyzed.
I hate to use the term baby, but they're like pretty much
like a baby, because you have to do everything for them.
Yes.
Which is really incredibly sad.
Yes.
So how is cerebral palsy something you're born with?
Yeah. Yes, it's a low oxygen to the brain.
So it's something that happened during birth?
Yeah, at birth.
At birth. So is it something that is the doctor's fault, or is it?
It could be, I think. I'm not sure, but I know my mom is a small lady, and I think I was a pretty big boy coming out. I was close to 9 pounds.
Ooh, you were a big baby, yeah.
And it took her about a day and a half.
Yeah, to have you.
Yes.
Yeah. So this could really happen to anybody's child, right? This
Correct.
is not something that's just segregated to different people or different classes or different races. It can happen to anybody's child, right?
Correct.
And there's no warning signs of it happening either, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that it's pretty much something that's let's call it a fluke.
Yes.
You know, and I think that, it can be traumatizing to anybody to learn that your child is going to have some sort of delay,
Correct.
whether it be very small, like you said, a bent finger, to somebody that has more extreme things happening where they just have to be immobilized their entire life,
Correct.
which is a very sad thing. Having had children, I know that's a very sad thing. Um, how did you deal with your CP when you were little?
I get like just like any other people. Like I think I first understood it. Like I have trouble walking and
Yeah.
can't walk
Mm-hmm.
very far, and
Mm-hmm.
like I know that like I have a much more um stamina now, and I think I would probably still get them if I still walk like a ton. Like I remember one of my first challenges I really remember is I used to get cramps in my stomach
Oh yeah.
if I walked too much.
Oh. So that's how it morphed into.
Like
Yeah, that's how you
no days.
acknowledged. Yeah. So did you feel like you were different when you were little?
No, not really.
That's awesome, because sometimes people with either developmental delays or physical delays really struggle with that feeling of not being different,
Right.
and they're very well aware. But it sounds like you still have such a positive outlook on everything, which is
Yes,
really good.
you do too.
Sometimes I can have bleak outlooks at sometimes, but for the most part, we team up pretty well.
I really enjoy your lives. You're always chipper and all that, even through the dark times.
I try to be, because it's those dark times that show us that we're really strong, right?
Yes,
And that we can get through things. And I think the more positive we are about things, the better it is, right?
correct.
So you said you have a ski pole that helps you. Is there any other devices that you use to help you?
I have I have inserts in my shoes, and I used to wear a brace on my right leg,
Okay.
keep my foot straight.
All right. So you don't wear that anymore?
No, I wear those inserts.
The inserts, and those are helpful. Sort
Yeah,
of, sort of.
yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
So
So where do you get those inserts? Are they something you can just go buy at Walmart, or do you have to have them specially made?
I have them specially made. I am real thankful for this place in Rutland called Balance Works
Okay.
and the No Cheese Shoe Repair.
Okay.
They also give me lifts on my shoe too, because
Oh, nice.
it's common for CP for people who have one leg
Shorter than
shorter
the
than
other.
the other.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So that helps you walk.
Yes.
And so I know from knowing you forever. I've known you forever. Even if you didn't know me, I've known you forever. But I know that for a fact that you used to walk into town.
Yes, I do. I do that occasionally,
Yeah.
but like I like to do that. Like if I do that, I try to make sure it's during the week, so it's easy just to get the bus back.
Yeah, if you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's quite the hike. That's quite the hike from your house to town. I don't know. It's got to be a
Yeah.
good 3/4 of a mile.
Yes, I know it's easy going to town. It's a lot different
Coming back.
coming back.
Yeah, those two hills you got to go up when you
Yeah,
come back. Yeah.
yeah. My neighbor kind of busts me sometimes, like, because my neighbor when at night out walks between 6 and 8 miles a,
Whoosh.
a day.
That's a lot.
I know.
That's a lot.
I don't know how she can do it, but she loves it.
Yeah. I mean, even with my back problems and my hip problem, I enjoyed walking earlier this week with Brendan and with Jay and my Jay. And it's invigorating, but when you get home and everything settles, you're like, ugh, that's not the greatest thing. I shouldn't have done all that. I shouldn't have pushed myself because now I'm in pain.
Believe it or not, like that's I think the either not this past summer. I think the summer before. I was me. My neighbor was giving me a ride to town for something, probably like
for Duncan,
a Dunkin' or something.
Yeah.
And I was saying, "Hey, Lena, for the heck of it, can we drive your walking route?"
Oh.
And she said, "Sure, sure." And so we did that. And luckily, I never went on one of her
walks.
I don't know how you can do that and still be upright for the rest of the day.
Yeah. It's you and I both have that in common, that we both have chronic pain. So with CP, does chronic pain come with that?
Yes.
And what parts of your body it hurts the most? Like what parts of your body is it affected? The chronic pain affected?
My legs and my shoulders.
Legs and your shoulders.
On that.
Yeah. And what does it feel like in your legs? Does it feel numb, tingling, pain? What does it feel like?
I think I get more fatigue than pain.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's probably almost as bad.
Yes.
When you feel like, oh my gosh, I just want to do this, I want to do this, and want to do this, but then your body can't handle it.
Right.
I mean, I used to be able to go out and shovel the walkway, half the driveway, and the back deck. And I'm barely lucky if I can do the back deck now. With my back and just everything, it affects you all ways. You're a pretty upbeat person, like we talked about.
Yes.
Does having CP and chronic pain ever affect you emotionally?
I don't think so.
You just never let it, huh?
No.
How did you get to be such a positive person?
What other way are there? What other way is there?
Well, I mean, I love that about you. I love that you don't let your disability define you or stop you.
Right.
Like, that there's limitations for you, and you kind of stay away from things that would affect that. But you're all game for like going for a ride and going and doing things, as long as we're not out late. And I think that that's amazing. I think I honestly think you have to thank your mom a little bit, because
she is one tough cookie.
But we mimic what we see growing up, right?
Yes.
And if we see a positive person and somebody that's just doesn't take defeat, and she's all that, but you're all that because she's all that. True. And she does seem to be a more positive person. She tries to stay upbeat. I know she has her days, but we all have our days, right? Yeah. But I think that our roots really define how we were brought up, and you were brought up really well, so you have a really positive outlook. And she taught you that you could do anything. Yes. Right? Yes. And that's the way I am with Brendan too. Brendan doesn't have the faith in himself as you do.
Right.
And I have tried and tried and tried and tried to just, figure out what we could do to further that with him. But it's hard. It's hard, and especially when people leave you out of things or people say you can't do something,
Mm.
that's hard.
And I need to thank a couple more special ladies
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah.
Dana Decker and Debbie Boyce.
All right.
They are amazing. Even though me and Debbie might have not got along sometime when we were in school, she was always looking out for my best interest.
And isn't it funny? We realize that the later in life we get, that the people that were really our rock solids back then were like, oh my gosh, that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. Dana, how I speak volumes to her anyway. She's amazing.
Yeah, I love her. I really can't wait to have her.
Come on. We're going to have her on the podcast in the spring, right?
Yeah, or summer.
Spring or summer.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. She's an amazing, amazing, amazing person. Let's see. This may be a weird question, but is there anything that you wish you could do that you can't do because of your disability?
Not really, because you pretty much can do anything you put your mind to.
I love you so much. You just are that light at the end of the tunnel. You just know exactly what you need to do and you strive for it and you go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like another lady that I really looked up to, but do you remember Diane Lake?
Yes. I saw her the other day at the thrift shop.
She was my favorite para.
Yeah, she's a pretty amazing person. Brendan loved her too.
She was my favorite one.
Yeah.
And I remember in like high school, I had her for my I think the course was called theater.
Theater?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that course set up plays for whoever is gonna do a play in the auditorium. That class set them up. And this is just one of many examples. Like, they were like lifting like heavy boards off the stage and across the theater. And like, the teacher would never think of asking me to do that. And like, out of the clear blue, Diane surprised me and they told a fellow student, say one of those. I want Jay to move one of those. So
that was awesome.
Yeah.
And did you move it?
Yeah, me and
that's awesome. So it's paras like that make a difference in kids' lives.
Yes.
Because that story you'll remember forever, right? And you have so many stories. I'm sure you have more stories about the paras there too.
And I hope the paras know this. We might be with you the student might be with you just for a year or two, but you're with the student their entire life.
I couldn't have said that any better. I think that, We hope that every para is like Diane and Dana.
Yes.
And sometimes that doesn't happen.
No.
And sometimes there's friction between the para and your parent, or para and you, or there's just a power struggle between the two of you, and that's hard.
Yes.
When there and then there feels like there's not really any learning.
Right.
And I know with Brendan, and I think you've expressed this too, that there's certain paras that just kind of downgrade you, and treat you like your disability and not what you're capable of, looking at what you're capable of.
I think we had it, by the sounds of it, between discussions between us before Brendan had.
The same para that you had a trouble with.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you have a para your entire school journey, or was it just in high school?
Entire school journey, but they like phase them out less and less.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, but
was that because they didn't think you need it, or because
I'm not sure.
Oh, you don't know.
But like, I remember like having like a one-on-one, like almost a one-on-one, and it was so nice.
Yeah.
Like half of the time, like she knew my school binders better than I did. Like I say, where did you put this, or where did you put that? Like, which I'm forever thankful for.
Yeah.
Those people, and it's a lot different when you don't have that.
Yeah, for sure. It's so much more helpful to a student that is struggling in any aspect, whether it's a physical or mental, emotional disability. It's so nice that we have these paras out there that can take and do things with our kids and make them feel like they're successful, and make them successful.
Right.
It's not just making them think they're successful. They are successful in whatever they're teaching and doing.
Right. I honestly think I owe my high school diploma to Dana. And
I could say the same about 3 of my kids with Dana too. It's just she's just an amazing person. I can't wait to have her on.
Me neither. I really look forward to having her on.
So we've talked about your mom, we talked about Debbie Voice, we talked about Dana, we talked about Diane. Who is your number one biggest support in your life right now?
I think me. Can you define support?
So, like, who is like the person that's in your corner always, has helped you with everything, has just been there to be just a rock solid person, just somebody that you look at as, they're always supportive?
My number one support after my mother and my grandfather, Roger Turinsky. Luckily, unfortunately, his health is declining, but he's getting up there in age. And luckily, we moved him to nearby from, he originally was from Mystic, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And luckily we have him closer by now.
Right. So you can go and see him once a week and whatever.
Yeah,
and you can be there if there's anything wrong.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because before he was pretty
4
much
hours away, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, and he was pretty much alone.
Yeah. So that's probably, I mean, I know you love your grandfather.
He's my best friend.
Yeah. And I know that it's hard seeing him have his health decline and having to be there. But, I know you're just as good of a support to him as he is to you.
Yes.
I can tell just by the posts that you post and what he says. You guys are two peas in a pod, but
Yes.
you're being sarcastic to each other for sure.
That's how I know he loved me. He give me hell all the time.
Yep, that's usually the way, right?
Yep.
So what what does a day look like for Jay? Take me from the start of your day to the end of your day. What does Jay do?
I honestly wake up, have a coffee, a nice soak.
Nice soak.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love my bath.
Yeah.
And then I try take a morning run to Dunks.
To Dunks.
Yeah, because I really owe it to Tri-Valley Transit. They're amazing people.
And they were formerly Stagecoach here in Randolph, right?
Yes.
And you can just call them and say, "Hey, it's Jay. I want to go wherever," right?
Wait, then should I throw out their number?
Yeah, go ahead.
Their number is 802-728-3773. And
Okay.
if you're around Randolph and need to ride home, if you dropped your car off at the garage, they could pick you up Monday through Friday from about 9 to little before 4, 3:30 or 4.
All right. That's good. So that helps you get around to where's the farthest you've gone on Tri Valley?
Probably West Lab. They do a shopper trip every Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. So do they just go to the plazas down there?
Yes.
Nice. So that's cool, but I'm sure that's a lot for you for a day too. That takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
But it helps you be really independent too, right? If you need to go get groceries or you need to go get Christmas presents or whatever you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I could since Pop lives down there and I can just
go see him too.
See him.
Yeah, that's good. So what is something you enjoy doing and why? It's like one thing that you just really enjoy.
Honestly, doing the podcasts, I just find them really fun to do.
Yeah, it is fun to do, isn't it? It's I don't even I love that people are watching, but I don't even really care like if people are watching.
No.
I just like being able to get together with you and have these conversations because I think if nothing else we're educating ourselves, right? So, that's good. So you had oh yeah, go ahead.
This is not part of this.
Okay.
But is there something burning?
No, they're just cooking.
Oh.
They're just cooking.
I don't want to. I'm sorry.
I'm sure they're frying potatoes is probably what they're doing.
I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, you're good. You're good. Make sure my house isn't burning down. We've got hardwired fire alarms that are not in here because if it goes off in here, I didn't want it to interrupt. But so you have a classic look. Yeah. Right? You have a classic look. Do you want to tell everybody about your classic look?
I just maybe a ponytail and I just love tie-dye.
Loves tie-dye. So do you have other things that are tie-dyed?
Yeah, pretty much every t-shirt I have
is tie-dyed?
Is tie-dye.
So is it tie-dyed by somebody you know, or you did it, or mom did it, or?
Mainly by someone I know, or one thing I really cannot stand is like honestly like if you were under using this for instance,
Uh-huh.
say you were at Walmart, you saw a perfect tie-dye that screamed J.
Yeah. Don't get it. Jay
I
wouldn't like it.
honestly, you could get it, but I honestly wouldn't get it at Walmart
Yep.
because I think that defeats the purpose of getting a tie dye.
And because people pour their heart and souls into tie-dyes, right?
Yes,
Um, what is it? Kristen Ryan?
yes, she is a
Oh
wonder.
my gosh, her stuff is amazing. I think she just moved too,
Yeah,
didn't
she
she?
just moved. I forgot what state, but I got a lot of my
Stuff from her.
stuff from her too.
Yeah.
But
So do you have t-shirts that are dyed or shirts that are dyed? Do you have anything else that's dyed?
I have a hat,
You have a hat? All right.
which the amazing Cheryl Sprang
Okay. I didn't know she did
dyed.
tie-dye.
Yes,
Yeah. And then you have other things?
and shirts
Yeah.
and on. Did I mention Kristen did a bed set for me?
No.
She even did a bed set for me before.
Wow. So it's like blanket pillows,
Pillow
blanket sheets
sheets,
and pillowcases.
pillowcases.
That's awesome.
Yes,
That's awesome. So I know you've got some tapestries too, right?
yes.
Yeah. Who did your tapestries?
I got one. I got one from Dana,
Uh huh.
a couple from Kristen, I think,
Nice.
and I forgot what country this guy is from, but you should follow him on Facebook. All I remember his name is Dole. I forgot his last name.
Maybe it's from India.
Yes.
Kind of sounds like an Indian name. Well, that's pretty cool. Do you got tie dye socks?
No, no,
Not yet, huh? Oh
no.
man, I'm thinking Christmas. Get Jay a pair of tie dyed socks.
I don't need anything.
That's what the first thing that Jay said when we walked up the stairs. I don't want you to get me anything for Christmas. That's what he said.
Good,
I don't need anything.
because she's a Amy is a giver.
I am a giver for sure. I am a
Yeah,
giver. That's part of my Aries nation.
yeah.
Let's see. Do you find anything about CP frustrating?
Not really.
Not really, because you just got this upbeat personality. So I think others that might be worse off than you might feel a little more frustrated
Right,
if they were like really impaired to walk or whatever,
right,
or they couldn't get out and do things or didn't have a good support system. Then that would be frustrating for sure,
right.
right? Um, Go ahead.
Now, one of my hobbies is there is on YouTube, which there is a lot of families with children with CP or other disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
They are pretty amazing as well.
Yeah. Do you have other friends that have CP?
I know other people, but not like close friends.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I know with Brennan's epilepsy that there's like um, seminars and different things that you can go to for that. But there's
Yeah.
also like these big group get-togethers of people that
I
have
heard of that, but I've never
never been.
been
Yeah.
to one.
Um, let's see. Oh, funny how you mentioned you just picked up your coffee. How do you like your coffee, Jay?
I knew you were gonna bust me on it. I like caramel swirl and shoot me if you want, but I like Lots of cream in my coffee.
Lots of cream. And how many creams do you like in your coffee, Jay?
I say 10. But
so it's funny because I was preparing my coffee at Cumberland Farms the other day, and I was talking to one of the kiddos that I know. She's not a kiddo anymore. She's in her 20s, Kendra Herring. And I was actually making Brendan's coffee, or Brendan was making his coffee, and he was dumping cream in it. I was like, Jesus, Brendan, how many creams are you going to put in? He goes, just as much as Jay. And I was like, and Kendra's like, who's Jay? And so I had to explain who Jay was. And I said, Jay likes his coffee white. So she said, well, I like that too. I have more creams than I do anything in my coffee. Just add a splash of coffee and the rest cream, she says. Yeah, so you are not the only one, my dear. My own son does this, and now I know of a couple other people that do it. So you are not the only one. Maybe I'm abnormal because I only like 2 cream, but mine's pretty light too. So, all right. Let's see. Oh, you got a notification. If you could tell your younger self something, what would it be?
Just keep at it.
Just keep at it. That's like the most positive thing ever, right? Just keep at it. Don't give up. Did you ever have any negative experiences in school other than the one pair we've talked about? Did kids make fun of you? Did you have a hard time making friendships?
Not really, I don't think.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's really good because I think that I didn't have that same experience. I had a really hard time in school with people, and they made fun of me because I wore glasses. They made fun of me because I was a little chubby. They made fun of me because I wore purple. Everything and anything they could pick on me, they pick it on me about. So I'm glad that
you look amazing.
Oh, thank you. So do you. Thank you. Very dapper in your tie-dye purple shirt, which is my favorite color. I like the little spiral it's got going on. Is there anything in particular in your daily life that is hard for you to do other than walking is a little challenging? Is there one thing that you really wish you could do as far as your daily living situation that you have a hard time with?
I say maybe shaving.
Shaving, yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people with disabilities find shaving really hard to do.
But I heard it, like, I heard shaving is hard for everyone.
I think probably you're correct. I think it's probably a skill that you have to learn. Do you have an electric one, or do you do the
I
razor?
have a trimmer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what I have for Brendan too. And Brendan finds it really challenging to even do that.
So. Yeah, me too.
And it's an art too. If you have a special like goatee, or if you want to have chin straps, or you want to have none here and you want to just have here,
right?
And it's something I know, having birthed 5 boys, it's something I know that it's challenging to learn, and you have to do it like every other day.
I know. Stay up on top of it. I'm horrible at that. I usually do it once, twice a month, if that. Or like, for example, Mom knew I would come in
today.
So
she said, like, do it.
Yeah, she said, "Get in here, let me do it."
Yeah. It's good that moms are there. I do the same thing with Brendan, and now with Jay being here, he trimmed up Brendan's mustache because Brendan doesn't. With Brendan's autism, he really doesn't like a lot of touch unless he initiates. So he has it like grow over his lip, and I'm constantly like, we just gotta trim it. Just trim it a little bit so you're not eating your whiskers, because they can't taste good. So Jay hooked them up yesterday. Let's see. Uh, Jay, you know that I love you. You know that we all love you here. Thinking Out Loud
Yeah,
loves you.
yeah.
Um, our guests love you, you
Thank you.
know.
Yeah.
But is there anybody in your life that has not been understanding of your diagnosis, whether it be somebody in your family or some one of your friends? Is there anybody that has ever been not?
I don't think so as much.
Yeah,
Like sometimes, like for example, like we were the only thing that crossed my mind is the person we were
the
talking
para, yeah, that just
about.
didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that you you are very energetic and you can get the word out there and be really helpful to other people that have CP too.
Yes.
And I think that you should really look into, if you haven't already, just maybe picking a family that's just starting off with a child that has CP
Yes.
and being an inspiration. We should even try to get some other families on here that have somebody in their family with CP.
I yeah. I was thinking about like maybe interviewing like. Do you know Evan
I
DeVig and
do. I went to
oh
school with Evan all through grade school. And I know, are you talking about Owen?
yes,
Owen is amazing, right?
yes,
But Owen is,
not
Owen's,
not nonverbal.
he's nonverbal and
I
he,
first met him when he was a baby, which I I was shocked when I met him like a couple years ago. Like
yeah,
he's like 21 or
I
two
know.
now.
Yeah. And
Made me feel
he is
old.
paralyzed, right? He does not walk.
He doesn't walk. I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily call it paralyzed.
Yeah, he just can't walk. And he is nonverbal.
Right.
But he uses a computer
Yes.
to communicate, right?
Yes.
And I think I saw pictures on Evan's page maybe 4, 5 years ago, maybe even longer than that, that they had him on a three ski at Whaleback, which I
Well,
think Evan partially owned or had an ownership in Whaleback.
what's
Um,
risky?
it's like a ski to go down the hill, but it's made for people that are have mobility issues. So you sit on the ski and
Nice.
it has skis going. So it has three skis. It goes down the hill.
Mm,
I've seen Evan put Owen on his back,
yeah.
even later in life.
Evan is a amazing father.
Evan was an amazing person growing up. I really had a mad respect for Evan, and I'm really for his sister Dana, and she's on my Facebook, and Evan's on my Facebook, but I've kind of followed Owen's journey.
Me too.
But maybe that is somebody that we should interview.
Yes.
Because I think that, and does he have a CP diagnosis? Is that what his diagnosis is?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure what his diagnosis was, and I didn't think it was my place to ask,
Right.
because I don't,
Right.
because I don't think it matters what your diagnosis is. I think
Right.
it matters how you are as a person,
Right.
right?
The way that taught me, I can't remember how old I was, but I was still in my single digits of age.
Yeah.
I remember this older gentleman. Me and mom were at a gas station, and I think he noticed how I walk, and he said, "Does he have CP?" And I do too.
Aw.
And that what inspired me to keep my eye out, and I know CP when I see it.
You do. So you're able to pick that out really
Yeah.
more easily than Brendan would be able to pick out somebody that's epileptic unless they're having a seizure.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's good. I think it's great to have friends in that community that kind
Yes.
of get that. And I think, you are an inspiration to a lot of people.
Thank you.
I know one person that I can think of right now that we've interviewed, JD Green, who loves you to death.
I love him to death
Yeah,
too.
and he is an amazing person. And you're going to be in the spring being interviewed by
All
them
of
too,
us
right?
are, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he wants to do a special on you though, and I think that
Yeah.
that's probably a
Yes.
pretty good thing to do.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. That's the Aired Out podcast with JD Green.
Ego is a amazing podcast.
I was watching some episodes, or I was listening to some episodes on my way to Pennsylvania when I went to pick Jay up, and I was listening to them through YouTube, and I love the camaraderie that they both have.
Yeah, him
Uh,
and Raylene.
yeah, they have a really good camaraderie, and
I
it's really nice
was
listening to them.
I was honored to have him on our podcast.
And it won't be the last. We'll have him do it again for
Yeah,
sure.
it
Yeah.
definitely won't be the last.
Yeah, no, it would definitely do it again. So, is there anything that you want to tell the viewers about people with CP or chronic pain? Is there one thing you want to tell them?
Just be patient with them and like let them, if they think they can do something, just let them try it.
Right. Yeah, let them try and let them make their own decisions
Right.
about what they can and cannot do and their own
Exactly.
limitations of what they can and cannot do.
Exactly.
I think sometimes as caregivers, um, we tend to like want to do more,
Right.
and we have to stop and realize that it's their life and they want to do things. Like Brendan really wants to learn how to drive,
Right.
and in the state of Vermont, you have to be seizure free for an entire year,
Wow.
and he hasn't successfully done that.
Oh.
And but it doesn't stop him from wanting to do it, right?
Right.
So we've found like different things to adapt over the years. Like he had a Barbie Jeep when he was little. He had this white and purple Barbie Jeep that he loved to ride, and he would ride that thing.
Have you ever took him like up a back road?
Oh yeah, yeah. He is not great at driving. He
Yeah.
has a very big lead foot,
Huh.
and
I will probably be the opposite.
yeah, you'd be slow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, for example, like some people, I don't think it cut out for driving. Like,
I would have to agree.
for example, I think my lucky stars every day that my grandmother don't drive.
Well, let's hope she's not watching this
I know,
podcast.
but she knows.
Oh, she knows? Okay.
But geez, that will be one more thing for me to worry about.
Yeah, I get it.
So,
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I know what you mean. So, is there anything you want to tell our thinking out loud fan base here?
Not that I can think of.
Not that you can think
Did
of.
you miss any questions?
I don't think so. I think I asked all my questions that I wanted to ask. Is there anything you think I forgot?
I don't think so.
I think we touched on everything that we really wanted to touch on. And I really thank you for being open and able and a willing participant to share a little bit about yourself. And
I'm thankful for it too.
yeah. All right. I guess we're going to sign off. Thanks, Keegan, for our hats.
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
Keegan.
them so much. Until next time, thinking out loud.